TGIF, ladies and gentlemen, thank God it's Friday. Today is May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day, everyone. May the 4th be with you. Effing Star Wars. Well, welcome to IronRealmMedia, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Flat Earth Friday FRINGE-CAST. We have 4 of us today. I am joined by Walter, John, Adam, and with us for at least a short period of time is our good friend Down Under, Rob. Rob, I'm going to go to you first just to say hello. I haven't spoken to you in a long time. I just wanted to say hi, catch up with you a little bit.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm sort of ducking in for, I got an hour or so today, so I thought I'd duck in to say hello to everybody. No worries. Glad to be here.
I know you've been working a lot in your office job, so we appreciate you taking a little time out for us today.
No worries.
And we also have Mr. John Savage.
Hello,
John,
guys. I'm doing well, Josh. Cheers. A bit of a stressy start to the show there, but I don't know if we're going out. I don't know if anyone's hearing us. I don't know if I'm hearing myself, but there we go. That's how it works on IRM.
That's right. That's how we do. And we are also joined with Mr. Adam Meakin, the Adam Meakin. Adam, how are you this fine Friday?
I'm a little frazzled, mate. After all that, I've got to be honest with you. It's been a strange week after last week. A very different vibe tonight to last Friday, but yeah, glad to be here at last.
Walter, we didn't have a show this morning. This is the first time I've really spoken to you today.
I know it's very unusual to start a Friday like this. It's been off-putting, offsetting. Everything's been just not right, and it's continued on all through the day until this latest fun we've had trying to get on the air today.
Yeah.
So, my goodness. Hello, everybody. We missed you this morning for sure. Glad to be here. Rob, I'm so glad you're here, brother. Missed you. John. Adam.
Yeah. Good to see you guys too. How's things going with you, Rob? What have you been up to? Avoiding flat Earth as much as you can, eh?
Yeah. I've just been just too busy at work because I'm in charge of probably about 15 blokes these days. So that takes up all my time.
Yeah, I can imagine. And it gets a bit overwhelming trying to keep up as well, doesn't it?
When I first took the job, it was overwhelming because all these things were going wrong. E.g., because I'm in the transport business, cyclones and stuff like that, cutting roads off, and truck breakdowns, and people not showing up to work. All the things that they just seem to happen all at once. And yeah, it was. But everything's settled down now. It's been good the last 3 or 4 weeks actually. It's been really, really good.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I'm finally starting to enjoy not having to, because I was sick of getting out on the road and driving trucks. So it's
it's not good for the back, is it?
I know I'm still a slave, but I don't get up to an alarm clock anymore.
No, you get up to a turkey now, don't you?
Yeah, I got them. You'll hear them. You'll hear them in a minute, and they're only about bloody 10 meters away from me.
So what do you mean you don't get up to an alarm clock anymore? What do you get up to?
I don't. I just get up when I wake up is when I go to work. But I usually go to work early anyway. But I'm telling you right now that if you don't actually wake up to that alarm clock, how many people, put up your hands, everyone around the world that gets angry when their alarm clock goes off?
I haven't even got one.
Yeah, you don't work, but everyone that works gets.
I work my fucking arse off. I just don't get paid.
When your alarm clock goes off, most people would get angry or they just want to roll over. I'm telling you, that is the best part of what I do now. Is I still go to work, at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, but I just don't. Not hearing that alarm clock in the morning is just brilliant.
Was that a conscious decision to get rid of it or something?
Well, I don't need it, John. I get up early anyway, but just the difference in not having to have it is because I get up in the morning. I just go to work. I might go to work at 7 o'clock on Monday morning. I might go to work at 7:30. I might go to work at 6.
You the boss.
It's all up to me.
You should get that bloody alarm clock back out set it an hour earlier and do some flat Earth research again?
I've still been watching a little bit of stuff on a Saturday night if I'm sitting here all alone. But I'll listen to your show.
Sorry, where's my
So
violin?
I'm not completely out.
So I won't ask you what you've been looking at then. As you said, don't ask any questions.
Nah,
But you
flat-
brought
flat
up
stuff,
the
flat
documentary with Sergeant's mum. So if that's something you've seen, then what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, she said he told me he was part of the Flat Earth Society, didn't she?
Well, I don't think that's any
Well-
secret. He's said from the very beginning, actually, that he joined the Flat Earth Society. I mean, that's
Right.
massive red flag
Yeah,
and a real
yeah,
foot
I've
in your
never-
mouth.
Yeah, I've never heard that actual statement before, but
Right.
you know, we've got our doubts, but just never heard. And
He
his
said he
mum
got a
wouldn't lie, would she?
certificate or something, and yeah, he'd signed up to the Flat Earth. But I mean, I don't know. People, you know, first get into this, you inevitably end up in the Flat Earth Society at some point. I think I did back in 2013, and just blew it out and said this is ridiculous.
I get I get a lot of people still in the office giving me shit, and if they give me a meme that that sort of, you know, gives it to me, it's usually a Flat Earth Society quote, or you know, I think I even mentioned the kids watched a video. I think a couple of months ago I might have mentioned it. And the kids were watching a video, and they it showed the Earth was rising at 9.8 meters per second squared or something like that, and that's how they, you know. So that obviously they're watching the wrong videos as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they come to me and they ask the question. I said, no.
Isn't that, Rob? Isn't that one of them ones the Flat Earth Society got stupidly wrong because they just said it's going up at 9.8 meters per second, not meters per second, per second.
If that was right, wouldn't you feel the acceleration? Wouldn't we feel the acceleration upwards?
It's not right. It's ridiculous.
No, we know
No,
it's not right.
that's what I'm saying.
We know it's not right,
They
but-
expressed it not as an acceleration, but as a speed.
It's a constant, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
9.8 meters per second.
Per
is what it's
second
going
rather
up.
than per second squared, yeah, or per second
Alright.
or whatever. Yeah, I think we know where the Flat Earth Society stands at the moment, and I mean, I follow the president or whatever of the Flat Earth Society. I've had a few conversations with him. He says that the rising up is they've got a page on their website that says, you know, that's not what they think, but it's just yeah, it's all you hear, really, isn't it? So I don't know if the president, I can't remember, Davis or something, seems a very reasonable
John
guy.
Davis.
Yeah,
John Davis. Yeah.
seems a very reasonable guy. It'd be maybe worth getting him on, but if I was him, I'd run a mile from the phrase Flat Earth Society. It's
Well, all the
part of the
things that my kids
program.
could have come to me and said to me, they asked me about the Earth rising, and I've had a gutful of the questions in the office of what's under us. Well, what's under us, and what's holding us up? What's that? And I said, I don't know. Well, why don't you know? Why don't you know? I said, well, I don't. I'm not going to claim to. But I don't know what's under us.
As though they know what's under the ball, or that it is a ball. I mean, it's just
Well,
ridiculous.
They know they're in the universe, don't they? They know they're flying through space in the universe. So they know that, but I don't know what's under us.
They have no idea about it. They think,
Right.
they say they know it because they were told it. They have no evidence for it. They have no images of it. They have no personal experience of it. It's just a fantasy until proven otherwise. Hi, Jamie Brown, by the way. Sorry, I can't type at the moment.
Yeah. So still some interesting things happen to me, but just not as quite as often as they used to be.
Before it gets too late and he has to run out here, should we hand back to the man that is running late so he doesn't break a record, lose his record of continuous broadcast?
Is he still with us? Are you
unless
there, Josh?
unless he's taking a shower right now, yeah. Are you there, Josh?
I
Are we
doubt
talking about me?
You talking to me?
No, yeah, I'm here still. Yeah, we have the great Midwest rivalry kicks off this evening here in St. Louis with the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Chicago Cubbies. And my girlfriend's work got some nice $200 big VIP private box seats. So, not that I really give two shits about sports ball, but I mean, free food and free drinks. Wild horses couldn't keep me away.
And why not?
But, I mean, I guess it could be a fun. I'm not going to poo-poo it this quite early. I will have an open mind about it.
Well, may the fourth be with you.
Yeah, it could be really exciting. I'll call you guys at halftime and let you know what's going on.
Ooh,
Have you, in all the mayhem, Josh, I forgot to ask you, have you got some flat earth patter down? Ready for...
Always got flat patter down. You know me. It was either going to be a big sign in black Sharpie that says "Research Flat Earth" that I could just plaster up against the glass on the box, or I figured since this is going to be her work function, the CEO and the CFO of the company are going to be there, so it's not beneath me to go flat smack some executives. So I'm perfectly capable of doing that. But I did promise to try not to embarrass her too much and try to blend in with all the normies as best I can.
That's it.
So you're not wearing a flat earth t-shirt?
Nope. I hadn't.
Iron Realm t-shirt at least.
Yeah.
I think it's still en route or will be shortly. I resorted to a St. Louis Cardinals t-shirt to help work as a disguise. And if anything, I'll have it for All Hallows Eve. But it does work as a good disguise, especially when you're downtown at a Cards versus Cubs baseball game.
Are you a baseball fan? Or are you just going for the free grog?
Going for the free grog. Going for just show my girlfriend that she is also a priority in my life and that it's not beneath me to also take off a Friday, let you guys do the show and spend some quality time with her.
There you go. Right, you better bugger off, mate, before you lose all your brownie points.
Yeah.
You liar. Liar.
Well, I will honestly say that is at least percentage, a small percentage of the reason why. She definitely deserves to have some of my unfocused attention. We don't ever really go out. She's about as antisocial as I am, but she still has the need sort of to want to go out. So the idea of us going out somewhere in public together, I think, strikes her fancy. So it's the least I can do to subject myself to not just normies, but baseball fans also.
And free beer.
Well, there is free beer. Again, that's probably got to be the largest percentage of what's dragging me along is the fact that there's free food and free drinks. So it's really hard to...
Credit in the bank, mate, as well. The credit in the partner's bank. Love it.
But I still stink like fryer oil and burnt meat. So I need to go hop in the shower and clean a little bit.
Yeah, you smell like burnt meat. Is that what you said?
Yes, and fryer oil, correct.
Well, I won't be going to your restaurant if you burn meat.
But you're Australian, Rob. You only eat burnt meat.
And we're going to pretend that that's what's going to keep you away from the restaurant at which I work.
I like it medium, thank you. I'm not a well-done person.
Nope, I'm not a well-done person either. And if I could warn every single person that ordered their meat well done that it increases your chance of breast cancer by like 400% and that you should never order your beef well done, I would. But as such, I'm not inclined to run out there and berate the customers like that. So I just have to cook it like they order it.
And you call yourself an Australian, Rob? I don't know. No, it's good to hear. Medium.
When they say to you, "Well done," you just say, "Oh, okay, medium, no worries. Medium, yes. Medium. Raw, yes."
The place I worked, I don't think we ever cooked a steak over medium rare.
Nor should you.
The heads, well, even if they ordered it, well done, the head chef just refused. He would just, no, I just can't do that to a bit of meat. And it was just like, yeah, good man.
Good for him. All right, with that, I'm going to get off here so I can go hop in the shower.
Yeah, have a good time, mate.
I will do my ever-loving best. I hope everything runs smoothly. Everybody in chat, I don't have the chat open, so I'm not reading, I'm not seeing, I'm not participating at all. But thanks, everybody, for showing up on this Friday. Look for Walt and I on Tuesday. We do plan on both being there this coming Tuesday over there on TFR.
I might put the game on, Josh, and see if I can see you hanging out of the...
right, give us a wave.
Well, like, it's free drinks, so you never know. It's Friday. Enough of those free drinks in me, you might just see my bare ass.
Oh my God, we have an asshole in the bleachers. What is that guy doing?
Yeah, go streaking across the field with a flat Earth flag. No, I'm joking.
All right, so I'm gonna get off here. I'll let Gary take my spot. Gary, it's good to see you in here. Congratulations on a very well-run convention. I heard everything was a success. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here to catch the latest on your ITV interview, but I'm sure the events are unfolding even as we speak. So, guys,
thank you.
I'm going to get out of here.
Hiya, Gary. Josh, one last thing. Don't forget to turn off the live stream when you get home, when you stagger home.
Walter, do you remember a way to kill OBS?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Oh,
good.
to kill OBS? No, I can just kill the live stream.
As long as you can kill the live stream, that's all that matters.
Yeah, in fact, I'm changing the title even as we speak because I just noticed it was still from last week. I got it.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Great. Sweet. I will talk to you all later.
All right, brother. Love you. Have fun.
Be well, mate.
Easy, bro. Have fun.
Josh.
So we're joined by Gary. Hello again. How's it going? 1 week on.
Hiya. Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a roller coaster since.
How you
The
been,
interview,
man?
by the way, I really liked that interview on the TV. It was good.
Hold back on the interview. Hold back on the interview, Robert.
Rob jumped in with both feet.
That's...
I'm just going to put on my Wi-Fi because I've just got in, and if I go, it'll only be taken, momentarily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you take your time. Yeah, Rob, there was some developments with the interview. That's you're talking about the Good Morning interview with some white-haired dude and someone else, yeah?
Yeah.
I think Gary's going to give us the lowdown on what actually happened there, because he made quite a decent statement there, and
what I should have in a bit, John, I'll get it lined up. Walt did a nice little...
Who's rearranging their shed and needs to mute?
I think Gary must have left his phone on while he was switching over, it sounds like.
Ah, that'll be it.
Well, I'm online now. I'm just muting.
That's good. Good go.
Carry on, Adam.
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, should we start? So we'll start from evening, Gary. First of all, you're right, mate.
Hiya, yeah, all good, thanks. And you?
Yeah, all very good. Not really. No, we've had a nightmare. We've had a.
Yeah, we're all out of sorts. Man.
I'll run it down, read into it what you want, but I had a nice new PC built for me. I got back from the convention. I always leave it running to find out it kind of stopped, and the hard drive had gone doolally. So I had a new hard drive put in this week. I had it all working. Did a little test stream you might have seen last night of the this morning show. We were just, that's hence why it went up. We were just testing stuff for the new hard drive. Came back again today, and there's been damage done to the hard drive again. Not as bad, but my IT guy doesn't know where it's come from or why. But he used the word attack, so we'll find out, I suppose. So we're running on a bit of a shoestring. Hence why we were running so late. and what's going to happen tonight is obviously Josh has gone off, and we're streaming from his computer as he leaves it. So we're hence apologies for the window this evening. We were supposed to be getting better. We've gone back to a basic Skype window. I don't even think you've got a place, mate, because Josh is gone. But that's kind of where we are. So we're running a little blind tonight, but so it might be a little bit. I'd even downloaded, Gary, some pictures of the conference and of all the lovely merchandise I'd been collecting over the weekend. But we're going to have to go to dodgy pictures on the webcam, I'm afraid. So, but yeah, good evening, mate. And
yep, hiya.
First of all, congratulations, pal. You know what I mean, to you and Dee Dee. You organised something awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a complete flop, wasn't it, Gary?
It was a flat earth retard flop.
Even the mainstream media couldn't say that it wasn't a popular event and it was a flop. They couldn't say it.
Can I just clarify a position that a lot of people, quite rightly, I understand why they're saying 200 people turned up at the convention, but that isn't quite true, because you had 200 on the Saturday, and you obviously had people there on the Friday that were only there on the Friday, and you had people there only on the Sunday. So in effect, it was around about I know it's splitting hairs, but it's actually a little bit bigger than 200. It was about 250, but obviously not at any one moment.
There you go. They're the numbers. Did you?
I don't care how many there. It was buzzing, John. Honestly, it was wicked.
Did you happen to see, Gary, the write-up from the PhD lecturer at the University of East Anglia?
I must admit, I'm not aware of that, so I'm intrigued now.
Right. How do I get that to you? I'll think about it. Hold on. You carry on, Adam.
Fill us in, John. What was it? What was it?
Oh, go look for it. What, you telling me you didn't read it? Good grief.
So, I know. Tuss. Well, you didn't. Otherwise, you'd be able to bloody tell me, wouldn't you?
Well, I can tell you exactly what it's about, but let me find it first.
Well, while you're looking for that, then the other thing I'd like to say thanks on is the speakers that were there, as well as you and Dee Dee. I'm screen sharing, I hope now. So just rather than in my usual monotone voice when I get to read out all their names, I'll just hopefully screen share, and you can say all the people there that I think. Obviously, Mike streamed live in the end due to personal issues and that, but yeah, really enjoyed everybody there, and obviously we had. Well, there was Nathan and Riley as well, wasn't there, that guest spoke on the Friday. I thought that was quite good as well, mate. I don't know your thoughts,
yeah,
Gary.
I thought because we were always trying to work out how we were going to balance Friday, and it was always a bit of a fluid evening. But I think when we actually knew that, because Anthony came to me and he said, I've got some information that's quite, unique. I would like to, when I say unique, obviously I know it's in addition to what they'd already done, but he had new information. And the very fact that he's done it twice now suggests that if you can do anything twice, you can do it 3 times, up to 50 times, where sometimes you can do it once, but you can't always repeat it. So I think the very fact that you do anything more than once is quite significant if it's not an easy thing to do. So to have them there and also have the speakers stand up, and personally for me, I thought the open mic was it wasn't my idea. It was Dave Manuel, the guy who made the lectern. I thought it was an incredible idea because it gave a voice to people who do not normally have a voice. And if you notice, Adam, a lot of people were starting off tentatively, and had the odd person come up. All of a sudden, the floodgates opened. We could have had 4 hours doing that, and people would just love it. Well, in my opinion, they were really getting a lot out of it.
Yeah, that was really good. We met a guy called Noel as the guys were coming out who spoke, and like I said, it was just like people felt so at ease. They were quite happy to quickly get up and just say hello. There was that kind of bit like everybody said it, a bit like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. You know what I mean? People were quite happy to, but it was like that. I think people were actually there was that relief that you didn't have to explain anything. You just get up and kind of just say how and where you got there. And I think it pays, again, you know, credit to you, mate. The atmosphere from the second you walked in was top notch, and I think that lent to that. The vibe in the room enabled people, I think, to feel relaxed enough just on spec to just get up, and the number of people that did it, like I said, kind of shows.
But can I just mention to Adam, and obviously I know that you saw a lot, you know, obviously saw what was going on, but what I was trying to do is my brain was working at 100 miles an hour all the time for the whole weekend, because what I was very aware of is that if I'd have started off with, oh, hi, thank you to come to the convention, hope you enjoy yourself, right, we're going to start with open mic, people wouldn't have warmed up enough by then. Because, like, for instance, my presentation on Saturday morning, no, was it Saturday? I've lost track. Yeah, Saturday morning. I was never going to do that. But what happened, because I was rushing around like a headless chicken, I didn't go to bed till 4:30 or 4 o'clock, and I didn't spend any time on my presentation. It showed. I really felt it was dreadful. And even though a lot of people said, oh, no, it was great, it was all really good, it wasn't. It really wasn't what I really intended. But I didn't have time to work on it because I was too busy working on the convention. But when I came up with, I didn't come up with the idea, it was Dave Mantle came up with the idea of the open mic, which I loved the concept. But when it was actually happening, it was wonderful. But I knew that if that was the first thing we did, people would have found it hard, and or not. We wouldn't have got as much out of it. So having Anthony Riley, then having our speaker stand up and whatever. By the time that happened and the odd person's commented, it was easier for people, I thought. And I just thought it was a wonderful. And I loved Lisa and Sam doing their song and her poetry. And by the time we actually got to the open mic, people were ready for it. Whereas at the beginning, even though you said there was a great atmosphere, I actually did find that people were a little bit cautious of not doing too much. And I was very aware of it. But I'm trying to make sure the event's running, make sure the hotel are happy, make sure everyone in the room's happy, if registration's not going well, and make sure everyone's getting a nice evening, and make sure everyone got their drinks voucher and everything else. So there was a hell of a lot that Dee and I were doing behind the scenes that I thought was wonderful. But did you actually laugh though when that guy, I mean, am I allowed to swear on here?
No, you fucking are.
Hell yeah.
Well, I don't know if Adam's told you this, but I just thought it was dead funny. And this is my humour throughout, is that there's one guy stood up and he was saying about being into flat earth, and obviously people looking at him and thinking he's mad. And he said, I've got to be honest, when I look back about the fact I used to believe in the globe, I thought, I'm a fucking idiot. And of course he then sat, everyone laughed and whatever, he sat down, and I looked at him really deadpan. I said, I can't think of his name, and I said, right, I've got to be honest, before I go on to the next person, I just need to have a word with you. You know, when a couple of minutes ago you got up and you swore and you said fucking idiot, and he put his hand up like almost like he was like a child in a school being told off, and I went, can you do me a favour? And I did it really deadpan as much as I could. And I said, can you do me a favour, can you just stop using the word idiot? And everyone in the room laughed because he thought I was going to tell him off. and that's my humour throughout, and it really is. Because I had fun with the audience over the 3 days. I don't know if Adam mentioned it, but I just had great fun. But at the same time, I had a job to do.
Yeah, you're a great compere who's over the weekend eyes got redder and redder and redder.
You're not kidding.
But Gary, at the same time, you made a shitload of money out of this, didn't you?
Hashtag stacking shield bucks.
Yeah, what you'd have to do, you'd have to probably just drop the word money and just say you made a load of shit. There was no money to be made. I've got to be honest. It was a little bit of a, I suppose, on a financial viewpoint, you'd have to actually class it as a disaster. But everything else was a roaring success.
Will you say? Are you prepared to say how much money you lost? Let's be honest.
Okay, I think the figure, and the thing is, I've had a bit of an issue with the hotel. With they charged me £600 on the final day that I wasn't expecting, and there's a few other things I've got to pay for. But I think it's going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 grand, probably edging closer to 5. So probably, I'm not sure. I don't know, within £300 maybe, but probably 4, 6. I'm not sure. So it's a lot of money, and the thing is, I will get criticised for I'll get criticised for apparently making money. I'll get criticised by mentioning that I lost money, so I can't win. So,
you can only publish your expenditures and your receipts and stuff the rest of them.
Well, can I just mention? Well, I know that you want to come on to like the convention, you want to come about the interview and everything else, but one thing I find absolutely amazing is I've been like criticised for the hand gestures. And I've got to be honest, and I know we'll come on to the interview at some point, but I didn't know what to do with my hands. I really didn't know what to do. But then when I was starting to talk about Brian Cox, apparently I was doing symbolism. And the thing is, people are focusing on something that they're experts. Everyone's an expert on what I should have said, what I should have done, what I shouldn't have done, how I should have replied. Do you know what? You're there with 4 big, because we've sworn already, big fuck off cameras. You've got about 18 technicians in the room. You got Philip and Holly, and you're there thinking, this is going out to 2 million people. We got to make sure we don't look like tits. And I was worried about obviously what other people were going to say. You didn't know. But one thing I will say about I won't go into too much because I know you may be covering another part of the show. Is the one thing I thought was really amazing is how ITV didn't dictate to us what we couldn't say. They didn't say you can't swear, you can't say this, you got to do this. Nothing at all. It was like, I thought that was quite bizarre. I was really shocked.
They didn't say to you can't say fuck or bugger.
No, they wouldn't like the word bugger. Everything else, they're game. Yeah.
No, you saved that word for the BBC.
Just like that one. All interviews just like that one is at the end of it, the presenters never want to stop. They want to keep going. They go, oh, I just want to ask more questions, and I want to ask this, I want to ask, but we've run out of time. They always do that on those interviews, don't they?
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. Save the questions for that.
Sorry, Rob, we've run out of time. We've got to move on, mate.
It's an ad break.
That's a great question, but unfortunately. No, I know what you mean.
We'll do it later. I don't want to jump around the program.
You moved on quickly, and I'll be honest, and I'm going to pull it back to it, mate, because I watched you work your arse off that weekend. Like I said, I watched the colour of your eyes change. I was super tired, got to be honest. And you've brushed over the losses, and for whatever the critics, for whatever their reason of whatever went off at the weekend, go. I don't think there's any doubt from us guys, and certainly from everybody that attended. Thanks for the $4,000 loss, and I hope we'll get into this hopefully later. Future events may help you recoup some of that, because you've certainly got, whether it's 200, 300 in total, whatever people that went, that are great advocates for an FE convention weekend, mate. It was awesome. I've heard some people say, oh, we should only have meetups. Well, I can only describe that thing as the mother of all meetups. It was brilliant.
Well, thank you for that. But one thing that I have read is that there's a few people attacking me that they should only do activism. The funny thing is, I'm not attacking them for doing activism, but they're attacking me for the convention. Now, the thing about the convention, and this isn't to do with, oh, look at me, I went on national TV. It's nothing to do with me. It's to do with, I don't care who went on national TV. A lot of people are now talking about it. My stepdaughter, my niece have both said, oh my word, I saw you on TV. My friends in the work now are talking about it. That's the point. That is why the activism is great. But you need the conventions, because what it does, it actually gets onto the likes of This Morning. It gets into the newspapers. When people are then doing activism in 2 weeks' time and say, have you heard the earth is flat? Yeah, actually, a couple of weeks ago or in the past or whatever. So you need it. But what I don't understand, and this really does frustrate me, is why is it I do not attack anyone for what they do. But why is it okay for them to attack me or people that do these type of things? Because if it was an out-and-out success financially, then that means somebody would have paid too much. And when they say this rubbish about truth is free, what a load of crap. What are these people on? But I don't understand why they need to attack.
Mate, but a hotel in Birmingham isn't.
No,
and that's the reality,
And you get paid for a job, so why shouldn't you get paid for all the effort you get you put in to make this event such a huge success. I watched you guys running around all weekend. It was amazing. Well, all 2-3 weeks leading in while we were getting to know you guys, I watched. But that weekend, watching just the energy, even though, as Adam said, the eye color changed and the energy started waning, it definitely was infectious, and just the energy and the joy of what you were doing was apparent, even on the ITV interview, which I'm not touching again. Shh.
Yeah.
I think we've run out of time on that one.
Right.
But thing is, though, I would have to say to you that Dee and I had a different experience to everyone else because we were behind the scenes running around like headless chickens. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, but it was bloody hard work.
No, mate, that's not fair. That's not fair, right? You weren't. I wrote down the other day what it reminded. You were like a more follically challenged Basil Fawlty. You going around. But Dee was gracefully moving everywhere, mate. There didn't appear to be a rush on the girl. She was cool and calm. Do you know what I mean? And and I thought it was a great double act. Do you know what I mean? In terms of you were around everywhere, here, there, and everywhere, meeting, greeting, doing this, doing that, getting from one side of the hall to the other. Do you know what I mean? There's bits on my footage of you. You know what I mean? And then you'll see Dee, and she's. There was
the calm in the center of the storm.
Yeah. A great team.
I would have to say, if you ask me, and I'm loading the gun a little bit here, but if you ask me what was the highlight of my event, I bet you any money you wouldn't guess it. You just wouldn't. I'm going to ask you, Adam.
Well, first of all, don't steal my questions.
Yeah, okay. I'm loading the gun. Yes, go on.
Gary, you know, looking back on the conference, what was the highlight for you?
I must admit, that's a bloody good question. Yeah. I wish I'd have prepared for that.
I put a lot of thought into it.
Okay, before I answer it, I want you to try and guess what you think it is. And the reason why I'm saying I just don't think you're going to get it is because it's going to be obtuse to what you would expect. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think it was? And I'm going to tell you some funny moments as well that I thought was really funny.
A highlight?
Yeah.
I mean,
logging onto your online banking after the event.
Oh no, that would be a low light, wouldn't it? I mean, when you see this big red mark going through it, and the bank manager saying, "Please stop spending money." That isn't.
I don't know, but in an obtuse sort of way, it might have been your highlight.
You know. I think I might have. I mean, it's got to be the point when you get a room full of flat earthers, and Martin Leakey gets them doing oggy, 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 oi, oi, oi. Or do you not remember that?
Did he actually do that?
Yeah, the whole room. He went oggy, 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 and the room went oi, oi, oi. He did the whole thing. I'm not going to do it now unless you guys follow me and I'll lead. But
I would have to say to you that I saw. Bear in mind that when you see snippets of something, you don't really understand what's going on. Actual footage, actual watching the convention, I probably saw. Let's say that the convention was 18 hours worth, and I don't mean say 16 hours worth. Take away the actual Friday, I would say I probably saw 2 hours of that. And what happened on that 2 hours is I may see a couple of minutes worth. There's a few times I sat down literally, but do you know what? I couldn't really take on board what the guy was saying because I hadn't seen the lead up to it, so it was like out of context. And then I was like always thinking I could see something that needs sorting, or I could something come up to me, the next speaker needs his laptop sorting out and there's a problem with the port, or I was going to the live stream people saying, "Oh, we live streaming now. Is it okay? Yeah, it'll be okay in 5 minutes." I was like, "Hold a minute, we've been going for an hour. You know, what do you mean it'd be okay in 5 minutes? I want it okay now." So I never really got to see any of it. And all I did, I saw about a quarter of an hour of Martin's his presentation. And the thing that absolutely made me roar with laughter is when he was talking about the different shape of the Earth that we all say what the shape is. And he said he's now going to support the flat Earth banana. And he had a banana on there with an Earth around it. And I just roared. It was like a very vocal. I just chuckled like crazy. I just thought it was amazing. But the highlight, and it's something that you wouldn't ever guess, is that Dee come out to me. You know when sometimes somebody looks at you in a very if you like, loving way, very special way, where she come up to me, and when we done, you know, we had the physicist debate, and unfortunately for Rob Durham, he was going to do his gyro, but everyone got up, and that's one thing that I learned from this weekend. A lot of things I've learned, but you know, trying to control the crowd was impossible. I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous. But we'll have that in check next time.
Especially flat earthers.
We're going to have bouncers then next time.
Well, what I want you to do is I really want you to put on a little bit more weight. I mean, I already thought you were fat, but I want you to really load on the pounds. So you've got big boobs. So when you're bouncing the people into place, into shape. But no, Dee Dee come up to me and she looked at me, and for like half a second we looked at each other and we knew that we'd achieved more than we ever expected. And she just literally snuggled into me and gave this massive hug. And at that moment, you know, when sometimes you connect with somebody in a really deep way, it was that. So even though I got tons of highlights, it was a special moment. And I've got to be honest, Dee Dee, it means so much to me. She is such a super girl, and she's just an absolute rock. And I just want people to recognise not only how powerful she is and how her journey is going to be off the scale as she goes forward, but I don't understand why people go, oh yeah, here's Gary, the event organizer. Well, yeah, but I was the co-event organizer. Yes, I started it, and yes, I got Dee Dee in November. But you know what? That event would have not have been like it was without her. And she's not just a card-carrying member; she's more than that. She's an integral part of what we've achieved, and I can't do it without her. And before the event, I thought, you know what? I don't know if I want a financial loss again. I don't know if I want to do this. At the end of it, we both were talking about, right, how can we improve Amsterdam? What can we do differently? What are we? And honestly, it was totally different, and it's because of Dee Dee.
Maybe next time you get an invite on the old mainstream crap stream, bring Dee Dee.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, when you want to talk about the actual whole ITV thing, then you tell me when you want to do it, and I can run you through in short, you know, a quick synopsis.
I want to do it now. I want to do it now, but apparently there's some countdown on it.
Oh, just chill, little bits. While we're there,
we're reading.
One at a time.
Go on. I was going to say, whilst you've got that on screen and we're talking about reception, maybe you should run through that.
I haven't been reading that. I've got a much better question. What happened with Mark Sargent and Patricia Steer before the UK conference? I've heard that raised in a number of places, and I know that we've asked you. So could you run us through that?
Sure. As you probably know, that he was one of the early speakers, most of them really, that were invited near the beginning. And what happened is that as we were getting closer to, well, it was actually post actually after he, they had the American convention, and he was Mark was doing loads of interviews and saying things like snow globe and you know, hints like Father Flat Earth, and all these things were coming out, and there was a lot of people writing to me, and predominantly they were writing to me negatively. You know, they were like really angry, and they were saying, right, that's it, when he's here we're going to attack him. Why you got Mark there? And it was really quite vitriolic, and I was like, oh, I'm on the fence. Should I do something? Shouldn't I do something? Is it really my problem? Should it be my problem? And bottom line is, I got to the point that I ended up having two hats on. I had my Flat Earth hat and I had my convention hat. And I found that I was concerned that the crescendo, the domino effect, was building exponentially to the point that I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have been attacked at the event, not physically, but verbally. So I decided to write him an email explaining to him that, you know, with my two hats, I'm really perplexed with some of the things that he's been saying. So from an event point of view, I was reporting to him that the you know, a lot of people are saying all this, and on a personal note, I was saying, why do you call yourself the father of Flat Earth? Why are you saying snow globe? Why are you saying that we're in a parking lot? Why are you, you know, saying this thing to the press that makes us look stupid at times? And what happened? He then wrote back to me, and basically copied in Jaron, Patricia Steer, Robbie Davison, Karen Petit from Sun and Moon, and one other guy, but I can't think of his name. And what happened is he replied to my email passively for the first half, explaining, oh, the reason why I did this is that reason, and the reason why that is for this, and all these different things. And he was talking about, like Eric Bay wanted him to, have a certain narrative, and Math Powerland was drinking himself into a stupor, and all these things, which the only place I can talk about it is because it's been released. I wasn't going to release any of this, but because somebody got hold of the email, and actually Eternal Padawan has actually released it, asking Mark Sargent why he lied, is why I can talk about it quite happily, because it's out there anyway. But basically, he got to halfway through the email and then said, I can't believe that the organizer of the Flat Earth Convention in the UK has said this. And then the next paragraph to the next question, I can't believe also that so it gone from answering me passively to almost being very, not, I don't know if venom is the right word, but it wasn't a straightforward reply. And then he said, and now you're trying to control that I don't talk to the media. Right, I know what. I'll just abandon coming to the event, which is not what my intentions were. It was never that. It was just literally me writing to him in private, saying to him, is there any way that we can work together? Maybe we can try and bring a bit more of a scientific angle into it and stuff like that. So I was trying to be quite strong, but at the same time say, what can we do to try and make things sort of nicer? He then decided to not only pull out of the convention, he also pulled out of Flat Earth for 2 months. But what I don't understand is how an email could make him do that when he'd actually been threatened, beaten up, and somebody else had threatened to kill him, I believe. I don't know if that's true, but I believe I've heard that. So the only thing I can imagine is that he thought he was like riding a crest of a wave. Maybe a few people are putting a complaint, and maybe my email comes back. I don't know.
Well, thanks for the explanation.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. What we like to do here is get both sides of all stories. So that's your side. That's fantastic. Who knows?
The thing is, though, can I just add though to that? The thing is, he's been talking to somebody on one of his radio shows, and what he is saying, which is absolute crap, is that I basically said to him, we're going to control how you talk to the media, and if you don't play ball, you're going to get kicked out of the convention, which is absolute bullshit. So like I said, D actually got a hold of the email, not through me, because I don't want to touch it, because I don't want to hurt the convention, and basically called Mark out as a liar. And the other thing that Mark was doing, he was quite often say, there's a UK convention in London, and he kept saying it, and you think, well, he probably knows it's in Birmingham, so I don't know why he's reluctantly promoting it. But then about 2 weeks ago, he actually said, oh, well, it'd be quite good if somebody starts promoting the event, because let's face it, nobody's going. Was he now listening to Flat Earth Retard?
Well, it was just that I'd heard a few comments about, the convention organisers and how Mark Sargent had suddenly been deleted. So it's nice to get your point of view on that, and it's I hope you're glad you got your time to say that.
To be fair, it wasn't really uppermost of my mind. That's what I wanted to discuss. I mean, the very fact you asked the question, the one thing that hopefully Adam found is that what I say is what I do. So if I say I'm going to do something, I don't always deliver from a point of view if you make mistakes and you run out of time, but I always try to do it properly, and I want to do everything with integrity. And for instance, today I was talking to Esquire magazine, and they said, right, the conclusions are this, but you may not quite like how it's been written. What do you think? I said, at the end of the day, as long as you tell the truth, if that's what you believe, that's what you've got to put. So, I just feel that everything's got to be done with integrity, but sometimes you need to know when not to say something, because it's just not, there's no mileage in it. But
well, Gary,
go on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. I'm just saying, I've got a sort of personal policy of benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise, and you can judge people on their fruits, and you just laid a massive fruit last week, as far as I can see. And what comes out of it? Interesting, yeah. Okay, not an egg, a massive fruit.
A massive fruit,
right?
So I'll judge you on your fruits, and that's that. I just I can't fault you on that at the moment. It's where it goes from here is out of your control pretty much, unless you're directly involved, which we'll get onto the ITV interview at some point maybe. But yeah, no, I say congratulations to you, and you're a man of your word.
Thank you. And I just want to, just one last thing about, sorry Adam, but one thing I want to say about Mark is that I'm going to Denver. I really do want to, you know, I say make up with Mark. It's like, I don't know if we have to make up so much, but I just want him to, you know, I want to shake his hand and say, no, crack on, we'll do what you're doing. It wasn't, I didn't think it was quite 100%, you know, there's a few queries I want to ask him, and he's come back and explained a few points. And the way I look at it is I've got no axe to grind. I'm not, that's the thing, you see, like I said to you, like, I've been attacked about the interview, I've been attacked about the convention, I've been attacked I should be doing activism. You know, it's like, I don't attack anyone. I just don't see the point. I don't want to do it. But I hope that when we're in Denver,
some people thrive on drama. Some people can't. That's how they drive people to their channel. That's how that's their ego. I mean, it's just, there's so much of it that we've dealt with the 2 years we've been doing this that, yeah, we're familiar with a lot of that, brother. So unfortunately, being in the center of it like you guys were and are going to be, it's going to just, you know, something you'll have to deflect and deal with.
And I'm pretty sure one beer and you know, a shake of a hand, and
exactly
you and Mark will be best friends again. It sounds like a breakdown of communication or something along those lines, which is generally the way it is.
And can I also mention, and I agree, that I think what happened is that, you know, where sometimes you know that somebody's lying, and other times you think, I think they got the wrong end of the stick. And that's not a criticism. I just think he read it in such a way that if he had a bad day that day and other people were attacking him and he said, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
The way I look at it is a communication breakdown. If the intent, you know, and sometimes you text somebody and it's read all wrong, or you think, oh, that's not exactly what I meant.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, I really do seriously hope that Mark and I can have a pint, we can have a laugh about it. We say, okay, it was a missed opportunity, or this happened, that happened, and whatever. And do you know what? Even 2 weeks beforehand, if there was a way that he said, do you know what? I'm actually going to be in the UK doing something else. How about if I pop into the convention? I'd have said, yeah, definitely, 100%. So I've got no axe to grind with Mark. I really haven't. I think it's just a communication breakdown, like you said. It's a misinterpretation of the intentions. And what I basically did is I did everything in private. I didn't send it out to the world because I didn't see the point. There's no, I'm not interested in the drama. I will defend myself, but I'm not interested in trying to cause shit. And I don't attack anyone. I really don't.
No, it sounds like you don't hold a grudge.
No, not at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have been attacked by Antonio, but since we've had a chat on Danny Brown's and we seem to get on all right, and I actually found him a very civil guy. So
when was that?
Where I was initially attacked. Well, what happened is I originally, to give you the history of the convention, I've been in Flat Earth since August 2015, and I was for a year and a half. The only thing I'd actually carried out is I went to a focus meet down in Worthing, met allegedly Dave and a few others, but I didn't have a clue who they were, and Laura Brooker. And to cut a long story short, when I then got to the following May, let's get this right. No, when I got to March of 2017, so 14 months ago, I then got, I was connected to Sun and Moon Group, and Karen was, we was having a chat about bits and pieces, and I went on a few hangouts and come across Dee and other bits and pieces. And then she said, do you fancy coming on to a hangout? I thought, what? A hangout? Oh my word, I've not done this. So I'd gone just literally from just YouTube and one meet with the Fookers to then joining Sun and Moon Group. That then led on to doing a few hangouts, and it basically just grew from there. That last May, I set up my profile, that Flat Earth and whatever, and that's when it all started. And I just happened to hear Jaron talk about he's not going to the convention in July. I thought, oh, so that's where it all started to see to do the convention. But I can't remember your question, so I do apologise.
Neither can I, mate. I'm sorry.
What you asked? I'm thinking halfway through.
You were on a negative trip, and maybe end that bit. And there's one more negative I do want to cover. I think you probably had a few moans about Gary, and then we can deal with the negative stuff, and then maybe after a few more items, go on to this morning interview.
Shut up.
And that final thing is probably the live stream and the beef, and maybe you want to make a statement with regards to that. I know I've noticed a bit of gripe there.
And quite rightly so. We are really frustrated because Dee Dee and I worked our socks off running around to try and make sure we put on the best event possible. But to be fair to the guys and to try and defend them, and they did slip up, I've got to be honest. But this is what happened. We had an initial crew that were recommended by the hotel, and their prices went through the roof. And we were looking at a quote of 8,300, which would have destroyed me. I mean, I would have looked at a £10,000 loss on the event, and that would have just destroyed me. You know, it would have been too much to handle. So I soon realised that I couldn't use these people, and what they were going to do, they were going to send all these different event manager, and they would have sent the technicians and whatever, and it'd been brilliant. It'd have been top notch. But for that, you'd needed to have had like 600 people there, not only because of the money's there to pay for it, but also the actual, it justifies the sound system, it justifies the whole expense and the risk and everything else. But because I was only literally on, at the time that I had to make a decision, we didn't have the numbers to know that the price was there, and we only had 2 people that had signed up for the webinar at the time. So it's like, how do I spend money on this at such an amount? It's just so scary. But so what happened is I then went to talk to another. And they kept saying, yep, yeah, all good. It's all good. And literally, we had about 6 weeks to go. And they said, yeah, no problem. And, we're going to go down this avenue and we're going to do all this. And they kept saying it up to 2 weeks to go. And then they pulled the plug and said, no, we can't do it. And I went, you're joking. So 2 weeks before the event. And of course, I didn't verbalize this a lot in previous interviews because, one, we had so many. The problem is every single person wanted a piece of what we were trying to do and trying to say what you shouldn't be doing or should be doing. We had people writing in, say, I wanted vegetarian, now I want vegan, and we started to try and sort out some of the merchandise and whatever. And now all of a sudden we've got this bombshell. So I luckily had this guy contact me and said, oh, I see you got some footage, filming. What can we do to help, if anything? I said, well, it's a little bit late. We would have got something in place. Next minute, I'm ringing him and say, in theory, if we did have to come to you, can we? He said, yeah, there's no problem. And he went away, came back with a price of $3,500. And I said, I can't do that. I really can't. I just haven't got the money. And in the end, we got it cheaper than that. But what happened is he sent in the crew, but they only had 2 weeks to prepare. And we were told by the hotel that there's a hardwired, Ethernet. And they all said, oh, yeah, it's all good. You're going to love the stream. It's all going to be good. But anyway, it didn't quite go, as you know, to plan. And we're still in debate with them at this moment. And, it didn't go well at all. So obviously, we've learned a lot of lessons for next time.
Firstly, and maybe cover this in a second. Are you doing refunds? That's a question I need to ask. But before you answer that, there is an offer from myself. But if next year you're struggling, I'll stand there with the iron stick and we'll stream all day, baby.
Hell yeah. Iron stick can handle it.
Gary, this was only on Friday night, wasn't it?
What?
The problems with the live stream, it was only on Friday and maybe Saturday morning, wasn't it? Wasn't it sorted by the end of the week?
Friday.
No, it was all the Saturday. Well, I say all. We had it streamed all the Saturday and all the Sunday, but I do not know what actually went on. Like, for instance, there was somebody today saying that they saw the debate with the physicist and they loved it. Now, I don't know if they live streamed it and it was great, or somebody was filming it from the audience and they got it out onto YouTube. I don't know their content. I don't know where they got their material from, but I do not know. And to answer Adam's question about refunds, now bear in mind that if I give refunds, which, don't get me wrong, I'm a man of my word, and that's what people need, I will do that. But what you got to bear in mind is, to give you some facts and figures, a £20 ticket actually costs the person £21.60, unless they pay for it on PayPal, which costs another £2. I see £16.67 of that. So if I refund them £21.60 or £20, not only have I lost what I paid for the live stream, I'm also paying the amount back and also the fees. So really, it's just a money pit. But what we've said to people is, we are so sorry. We are trying to get a solution. We are going to try and give you a hard copy of the actual the whole event, and also we want to give them live streaming for the next event that we do. Now, we don't quite know what we're going to do, but what we don't want is anyone to feel cheated. And if they end up, if for instance, they've seen, I don't know, say 10 hours, of which 8 hours was not that great, but they saw it, and 2 hours really good, we're saying to them, look, you know, we would like to give you one, an apology. Two, we would like to give you the hard copy, not a hard copy, the information.
Yeah, like a file or something.
Yeah.
All there or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
I think that's more than fair and reasonable.
Great. I would love to have that myself, you know. So yeah.
Can the people that attended the conference get the same? And I don't expect an answer on that, but that would be nice. More importantly, whilst talking about information you're giving out post-conference, the one thing for me, and I don't know if it's something you and Dee Dee could set up, is like a contacts list. I met so many people, and I'm sure if there's a Skype link or there's a whatever kind of link where you can see an image of the person, if we could all post something centrally with you that we could access, that people, you know, say I'm happy to share with those on the database, it'd be really amazing, mate, because I've got, this week's been bloody crazy, and I've got so much work over the next few weeks that, and I want to come on to some of the contacts and some of the positives that for me has come out of it. But is there a chance that you guys would be able to, because I mean, I met people, like, you talk about what real positives out of this. I met people that are just as been at this as long as we have, from the Facebook community, something I don't engage in, and listening to all the amazing stuff that they're doing and that. And you really have, Gary, brought a lot of separate communities together, and yeah, all you're getting a contact list together.
what we have is, and Dee Dee's the expert on this, but we have actually got the new website now, which is feconvention.com, which is actually talking about the future, what we're trying to do. And yes, there is a database. I'm not too sure in what exactly the full format and how strong the database is, but yes, we do want to build up. It's almost like I would like to have a website, a Facebook group, or a group connected, that all the people that attended that event, that, you know, potentially are going to go to Amsterdam or just want to keep in touch. I just think it'd be wonderful. And I think one of the things that I've always wanted is a legacy, that it wasn't just a fact of the connections at the weekend, is it grows exponentially, because obviously the more people that are involved, but I don't know if it ends up getting diluted if other people want to join the group but they didn't go to the event. And I don't know the best way to do this, but I definitely think we should do something, and I agree with you.
Whilst we're still on people, I think I'm sharing screen now. There's a few pictures I'd like to share, and before I get on to some of the merchandise in a second, when we talk about people, is that screen sharing? I did ask for permission for this on the show. This is a gentleman some people will recognise from the physics debate. And this young man here, the youngest flat earther I've had the pleasure to meet of my lads, and this is Ethan here, and I think his dad is called Simon. I just wanted to give a shout out to him. I swear,
he was brilliant, wasn't he? He asked two questions.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. And shout out, Ethan. Keep it flat, bro. He did that, Walt. I asked him to do that for you, bro.
Can you remember what the questions were?
Awesome.
I think the first one was, the second one was, is the ISS really there? I'm struggling to remember what the first one was.
I must admit, I can't remember.
I can't remember the first, but that's not bad. You stuck in my memory a fair bit, Ethan. I like you, Gary. I don't know about you, mate. Thank God I filmed off of it. It helps. But yeah,
I think it's wonderful that he actually, because he must have been about, I don't know, about 11, but to have the balls to stand up there and ask the question, and he asked two questions. I just thought, you've got to take your hat off to him.
Yeah, no, top lad. Now, if if you can see this one. I'll finish up so we can move on to what we're all desperate to. And this lends to something else. You've still got a lot of merchandise. This isn't yours, but you've still got a lot of merchandise, and that's still available if people want to purchase that. And I know John's got a few ideas that if people are out there, generous people that maybe wouldn't ask for a refund on the live stream, you know, reasonable people. I've never asked Bob for a refund on the balloon and never would. You know, you give things in good faith and hope, and to be a div to me and why I'm in this. But there is an opportunity still, isn't there, for you to try and recoup a little bit. And I'll quickly mention this before I show some of the stuff that's still available. This is a guy I met, and this is one of the amazing things of being there at the conference. This is Dave. You could probably tell people a bit more about him, but a really top bloke. I had a number of real good chats with. Maybe, how did you meet Dave, Gary?
I had to apologise. I'm trying to work out who's Dave, because
Dave was the South African guy.
Oh, Dave Mannell.
Yeah.
Yes. He's the guy who did the lecture, and he's also the same guy that actually came up with the idea of the open mic. And I must admit, even though I didn't spend a lot of time talking to him or basically anyone to like really have like deeper meaningfuls, I thought he was an awesome guy. Really glad that he was there. And I know he connected with Sarah Willis, who was also doing T-shirts. And that's the thing. There's so many memories from this weekend. For me, it was the biggest party in the world for me, you know, personally. And Dee Dee and I were just literally we're the biggest party in the world for me, you know, personally. And Dee Dee and I were just literally we're always not anxious, but we're always like very aware, making sure everything was going as best they could. And obviously it didn't with the live stream and other things, but the people there were just incredible.
Sarah was awesome as well. And
hey guys, I'm sorry, Adam. I think either John is still presenting or you're not presenting, because I'm seeing just somebody's infinity screen on the call, so we're not actually seeing your pictures.
Right there. Can you see the T-shirt now? Walt needs to update to the latest version of Skype. It's just told me.
Interesting. And John looks like he's dropped off the call. So.
Oh, see, it's getting worse, isn't it? Shocking.
There's been a lot of electronic anomalies over this last, say, 2 or 3 days, like bizarre stuff. Weird areas that have been messing with my electronics that are unusual, and you know all the trouble you've been having. And I've had our buddy Salamo on my computer probably 30 hours at this point now, and everything was humming along great. And then suddenly yesterday, as we were getting ready to talk about all this, everything went haywire, and I've had the worst time trying to get it back. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. That magnetic flip is coming. Y'all get ready.
Well, I've got to go soon, so let's get on to this interview. I want to hear all about it.
Rob is ready. Now we're seeing pictures finally.
Can you guys hear me or not?
Can you see? So, there's Ethan.
Can you hear me?
So I was mentioning the other people I met, and a shout out to Sarah as well. Sarah, I was supposed to have a picture in mug, but my eldest lad nicked it.
Take that as a no then.
It's in the door, so it's in his bedroom. And to be honest, I've not had a chance to reclaim it. What I will do is quickly go through some of the other merchandise. So that's Dave's T-shirts. This is some of the stuff I couldn't help myself. I had to buy me and the kids some Flat Earth merchandise. I got my spirit level
Can I just mention I'm not seeing anything apart from a screen of like a chat, like a hangout type?
It's okay. It's coming up in the window. I'll share it with you guys now. You should see it now. There's my flat